Easy. Take her easy. I got you. Take her easy.
All right, creatures of the night, welcome to episode 197 of our encyclopedic exploration, digging up the career of the greatest professional wrestling character of all time, The Undertaker, right there. My name is Alex Dorio. I am one of your co-hosts, one of the creatures of the night, and I am joined, as always, by my fellow creature of the night, my co-host, my tag team partner, my wrestling buddy. He is a man who kicked my butt in SmackDown vs. Raw GM mode 15 years ago, day after day, week after week when we got out of school. Mr. Travis White. And Travis, you know, I got to bring that up tonight because we're kind of returning to that idea, to that framework here. I'm going to try to get some revenge for you because we've got a very special, unique, one-of-a-kind fantasy draft of our own that we're going to be conducting here tonight. And we can't do that alone. It would be such fun if we did it by ourselves, but I thought it'd be even more fun if we brought in a friend to make it a three-way draft, make it a little bit more interesting. So who else could we have here but our returning champion, friend of the show, two-time guest, making it his third appearance here on Talking Taker, one of our original friends of the show, Mr. Randy Turco. Randy, welcome back to Talking Taker.
Yeah, thanks guys for having me. I was going to mention this is the
three-peat.
Thrice is nice, right?
That's right.
I now have as many Talking Taker appearances as the Denver Broncos have Super Bowl titles.
Woo!
It took them 50 years to get it done. It took me a couple of years, so I don't know what their problem is.
You are the Peyton Manning of Talking Taker, or you can be John Elway if you prefer. I don't know.
Both great choices.
Both great choices there.
I thought you were going to say we were going to bring in Teddy Long because we had like a three-way. He's going to be SmackDown. I was going to be ECW and you're going to be Raw.
No. It's tag team match, playa.
Tag team match.
We need another person for that. Well, Randy, before we get into this whole concept, what the heck we're doing here, just tell us how you've been. You last joined us on the show for the Escape the Undertaker. That was a fatal four-way that we had here on the show, talking about that crazy Netflix movie. What's new, man? What's going on? How you been?
Can you guys believe that was 5 months ago? Like they talk about with the pandemic, the days are long, but the years are short. And that's I looked back and I thought it's been almost a half a year since I've been on already. It doesn't feel like that.
That's crazy.
We have the holidays and a lot of snow up here in Minnesota, and that was it. So here I am again. But same old, same old. I was just telling everybody before we hit record that as you can see behind me, we're getting ready to move. So I am joining Travis and Alex in the recent Move Club.
That's right.
There you go.
Right.
That's right.
Put out some T-shirts like Bullet Club, Move Club. So we're packing up. We're probably going to move in May, I think it is. I think when the house kind of gets finished, and we're going to move in May. So that'll be fun. More of an Undertaker area. I can move my Undertaker detolf out of the gym, and I can move it in my actual little rec area.
Yes.
Nice.
So I'm excited to be able to have more room for Taker stuff. My wife doesn't know that yet, but that's the plan.
Well, congrats. That's exciting. And so tell us, we've talked about your mini Undertaker collectibles, and we've seen some of the awesome ones, and we've talked about our eBay battle over the Undertaker hat. We talked about that on an episode. What's your most recent fun Undertaker memorabilia purchase?
So we haven't purchased it yet, but I'm going to be podcasting with Steven Zeman on Collecting Dead Man, my monthly spot, which is the other thing that I do.
Awesome.
And we're going to be doing that on Thursday for, I think next week is when he'll drop it probably. And what we're going to try to do is we've been after those little gingerbread ornament men.
Yes.
And so there's a couple of them. I used to think, I don't want any of those. Those are dumb. Well, now I've totally done a 360 on that. And they have the American Badass one with the jeans and the blue kind of like coat thing, the Canadian tuxedo.
Yeah.
And somebody posted two of them for like $20 each. You know, their quantity is two. And so I told Steven, if they're still there on Thursday, we should do live best offer, like best offer the same thing, whatever it's going to be, a couple bucks off, $17, $16, see if the guy bites before the end of the show.
So love it.
That's what we're going to
awesome.
do. Hopefully we'll get twinsies on the Ginger Dead Man.
The Ginger Dead Man. That's right.
Yeah,
Travis,
right.
you have one of those.
I do have a Ginger Dead Man. It's amazing.
I mean, and there's nothing more badass than a gingerbread man ornament. So perfect. The Undertaker has one of those. That's great, man. I think he's got enough ornaments now. You could have a whole Undertaker tree in your house.
We talked about with the bigger house now, we'll have 3 levels. We'll have basement, and then first level, and then second level. So there might be a third Christmas tree coming, and then we got to choose a theme. So I'll suggest. We'll see what happens.
Throw it out there.
I think 3 trees. Taker 1990 to 2000, then 2000 to 2004, and then 2004 to retirement. That's
do the
3
iteration.
trees. Yeah.
There's probably enough out there. Yeah. And I got to ask you before we get into the main event here tonight. It's not Undertaker related, but I know you're a huge Foo Fighters fan. I am as well. Do you have your tickets to the Studio 666 movie premiere yet?
I do. I think it's in theaters for one day, right? It's one day, and then it's going to go to streaming, which I
on demand, all that.
Yeah, I probably could have got it the next day, but I'm me, and I feel like a duty to be there. So I haven't been in a movie theater since February of 2020.
Yeah.
This is going to be a first for me, but I feel a duty to go there. So I'm gonna put on like 9 masks, and I'm gonna go, and I probably won't have anything to drink.
Like a Kane mask, a Rey Mysterio mask,
Phantom Undertaker mask.
Yeah.
Right. So it's going to be awesome. And I brought 2 tickets. I got my horror buddy, Nick. I think he's going to come with me, I think. But if he eventually decides he's not comfortable, I'll totally get it. And I'll go by myself if I have to. Unless one of you guys want to commute up.
We'll talk off air. We'll talk about it.
Oh, okay.
It sounds great. But yeah, I mean, what are the odds that within a 6-month period, your 2 favorite pop culture obsessions, The Undertaker and the Foo Fighters, would both release a horror movie? Like, that is such a strange thing. Who would have ever believed that sentence?
Now I just need them to do one together, and my life will be complete.
Ooh.
And I can write my memoirs. But
I bet Edge can make that happen. Edge's brothers.
Yeah,
with it,
he would be the go-between. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see what.
I think it'll be very good. I think it'll be a lot like the Taker Netflix movie. I think it'll be fun. It'll be hilarious. I don't know if it'll be Scream 4 or Scream 5, I should say. I don't know if it'll be serious as a heart attack. I just think it'll be fun.
Yeah,
it's gonna be great.
Yeah.
Definite Blu-ray for me.
Of course, absolutely. Yeah. Well, good deal, man. We'll have you back on. We'll hear your review of that sometime in the future, I am sure. But as for tonight,
go ahead. Speaking of music and musicians, you might be feeling Minnesota, but you are looking California tonight, brother.
Ooh.
Thanks. Yeah.
Both of you do. Yeah.
We're dressing up for the occasion, which
I'll let you real music fans pick that line out.
Leave it in the comments, folks.
Yep. What song was that from?
Well, we are dressed to the nines tonight because we have this very special episode here. As I said at the top, we are doing a fantasy draft for The Undertaker. So this is a bit of a veering off course for the normal path of Talking Taker. But, here in this time that we're past his career, we're just looking at different stuff. Thought it'd be fun to go off the beaten path here for a Fantasy Ministry of Darkness draft. Now, what in the heck does that mean here? Well, the concept kind of came to me. I was just kind of thinking about the Ministry of Darkness and how, while it is an iconic faction, an iconic period of The Undertaker's career, is it really that great of a faction? I mean, there are some cool guys in it. You got the Acolytes, definitely like a Hall of Fame tag team there, but then you've also got Median and Viscera. And while we love those guys here on Talking Taker, couldn't we do a little bit better? There's so many great Undertaker-inspired characters, supernatural, fantasy, horror-type characters that have come in his wake. And there were many that were before him that kind of inspired the Undertaker character as well. And wouldn't it be cool if you could combine all of those into like a mega Ministry of Darkness faction here? So that's what we're going to do. We're going to take turns. We're going to do 10 rounds of drafting, and we're each going to try to come up with the best Ministry of Darkness style faction. So we'll give the rules here in just a second, but just let's take a minute and spend a few minutes talking about the Ministry of Darkness itself. Randy, when I say those 3 words, Ministry of Darkness, what are some of the first memories, matches, moments that come to your mind?
First thing is Amish Devil. That's what kind of went to that.
Yeah.
goatee, but he was getting a little bit more satanic, so he's the
Yeah.
Devil, that's what we called him, my group of friends. And I mean, Taker's only like 33 or so during this time, and I remember he won the championship the night Owen died, unfortunately, but he rolled up Steve Austin, but it was obviously kind of a forgotten championship win for good reason. But he won a belt during that time, and really, even though he did win the belt briefly in '99 there, I thought the coolest thing about the Ministry, although I think it could have been cooler in some aspects, but I thought the coolest thing about it was when he started burning Stephanie McMahon's teddy bear and throwing it at Vince and stuff. He was kind of like going past the championship. Like I've been there, done that. I want to own the WWF. Like I'm going past just winning the title. So that was kind of when I was a kid, that was what I was excited to the Ministry for. I was like, whoa, he's going after McMahon. He's going past the belt.
Yeah.
Travis, how about you?
Oh, I think of just all of the standard iconic moments from this, like with Austin on the symbol, and him stabbing Midian and all, like sacrificing him. And I just think of all that, like him and trying to sacrifice Steve Austin and embalming him, all that. Like, I just think of all those things, and him burning the teddy bear. Is it Where to Stephanie is in this too? Right. I just think of all those, the standard things that come out, but probably, and also I think of, hanging Boss Man. Like, I'm not saying my memories aren't necessarily great memory, but they're the ones that stand out. They're last. And it's been what, 23 years since a lot of these things happened, and they still are fresh in my mind. I remember where I was watching them, like at the night I was. And so again, it's like it's just iconic, he didn't have the best matches. He was a little chunky during this period, a little out of shape. He'll even admit that. Like I said, he's in his early 30s, mid 30s, but he was just looking rough. He was not looking California at all. He was looking rough. But it just I don't remember those. I just remember the moments, and it was just Russo-fied, man, like to the max. So.
Yeah, I agree with both of you guys. I think definitely it's the moments of this period of time. It's a little bit less than a year that this sort of character, this path that he goes on. But yeah, it takes the theatricality of The Undertaker to a new level with all those things you guys both mentioned, with the symbol and the fires and the hangings and the wedding to Stephanie, the dark wedding, where Paul Bearer's got his vows in his little felt book.
Yeah, he's got WandaVision, like Wanda's Darkhold book. Yeah, it's just something crazy. Yeah, who knows?
All of that in there, and it really boosted The Undertaker in this peak of the Attitude Era, and made him such a vital, strong character during that time. And he was a top guy. He was the heel really through that main part of 1999, and it was all because of this. And it just kind of made sense for The Undertaker to have a faction of guys to sort of evolve into this cult leader. It just, you never really thought twice about him doing that and having these followers. And as
it was
far
a natural evolution of that character.
Yeah,
it really was. Yeah.
I think so too.
I was just going to mention how quickly Undertaker and wrestling evolved from 1990, the mullet, no tattoos, the undead zombie that's impervious to pain, to 1999, like we're doing sacrifices on TV and crucifixions, not crucifixions.
No, symbolization.
Symbolisms.
Yes.
Yeah, think about that. You said that 9 years. That's, counting back now from 9 years is 2013. Guys are the same. They have, like, CM Punk's the same guy today as he was in 2013 when he was there.
Right.
He took 6 years off for it. But I'm saying, those characters haven't changed at all. You're right. Like, he changed so much in 9 years. Dolph Ziggler, same guy today as he was in 2013. It's just weird. You're right. It's a big, big change for an iconic character.
Well, the first utterance of the words Ministry of Darkness came on October 19th, 1998. So this was the night after Judgment Day, 1998, where Undertaker and Kane fought to a no contest with Stone Cold Steve Austin as the referee. And that was the initial promo where Undertaker utters those words, and it all kind of spirals out of that. And according to Wikipedia, the end of the Ministry of Darkness was September 23rd, 1999, which I believe is when Undertaker gets written off TV again due to injuries. So basically takes us almost through a year.
Yeah.
The members of the Ministry of Darkness officially were, of course, The Undertaker as the leader. And then you had Paul Bearer with him throughout that time as well. You had the Acolytes in Bradshaw and Farouk. You had Midian, who famously was sacrificed on that episode of Monday Night Raw, and he levitates and is pierced. Some great special effects. I mean, it's a spectacle to watch. No
expense, man. We got the John Hammond approach. Spared no expense.
Viscera, who is again sacrificed, and then the Brood, which is Edge and Christian and Gangrel, are shortly members of the Ministry of Darkness. They are involved in the hanging of the Big Boss Man, but it does not take long for them to get kicked out of the Ministry of Darkness. And I was always a little disappointed that we didn't get more of a... I thought that could have been a really cool moment to have a Brood versus Ministry of Darkness feud during that time.
I agree.
The Big Show is listed on Wikipedia as an official member of Ministry of Darkness. Do you guys feel like he's officially a member?
I mean, they had like the tag run at the end,
right?
But like you said, the Ministry officially dies when Taker goes off on injury in September of '99. But really, did it die before that?
Yeah, I'd say, yeah.
Yeah, I think so. And then Wikipedia also lists Shane McMahon as the Ministry's mole within the corporation. So I guess he's an official member of the Ministry of Darkness. Of course, we had the corporate ministry merger, which was really kind of, they're all combined into one faction for a large chunk of this time, which we're just going to pretend they're just the Ministry of Darkness here for tonight. So, okay. Let's talk about the rules for tonight's festivities. We have all agreed upon these rules. We have discussed them over email before we got on the show tonight. But the idea is that we're all going to build this fantasy Ministry of Darkness faction. And the idea is not to build like the strongest faction ever. So we're not going to be drafting John Cena, Hulk Hogan, The Rock, Stone Cold Steve Austin. If you want to make a case and have them in your Ministry of Darkness and come up with a reason, well, bring it to the table. Let's hear it. But the idea is more to have that spooky, fantasy, supernatural faction of guys that we could have in here. So everyone's going to build a 12 wrestler faction over 10 rounds. Now, I'll explain to you how that's going to work. Everyone's going to start off with The Undertaker, all three of us. So we're not going to hoard The Undertaker. Everybody gets The Undertaker. Yes, thankfully. So he is the constant here on your team.
As he has been for the last 30 years in the
indeed.
WWE.
Everyone must take a manager. Everyone must draft a manager at some point in your draft. Everyone must take at least one woman in your draft. You can take more than one. You can take more than one manager if you want, but you have to have at least one of them. And then you'll have to take one tag team as a unit. So each of us gets to pick one tag team unit, and that is how we'll get to 12 guys through 10 picks. Because we'll start with The Undertaker, and then one pick will be a tag team. So that'll bring us to 12 guys. Everyone else in the history of wrestling is up for grabs and is fair game. But you cannot draft anybody twice, and you can't draft any character, a different version of a character. So I couldn't draft Midian, and Travis could not draft Phineas Godwin later on after that. So
dang it.
Sorry to ruin your chances there.
And again,
can't do it.
This is like the Marvel MC, like there's no timeline, like the time exists.
Exactly.
You could pick anybody from any era. This is not 1999. But if you want to make a case for a character from 99, that's fine.
Of course. Yep. That is the deal.
So, we're using the time stone here from Doctor Strange and just blowing it wide open.
How many Marvel references can we
movie? The corporate ministry, I was going to say, it's kind of like when the X-Men, the Avengers came together, but then it was crap.
This is the multiverse of ministries right here that we got here.
Undertaker and the multiverse of ministries, yeah.
All right, so in my Undertaker hat, I had my wife write down all three of our names on slips of paper and fold them up to where I could not see them, so I have no idea whose name is whose. and I'm going to randomly draw for the order of the draft here.
Alex, when you said you were using a randomizer, I thought, oh, cool, there's some computer program or website out there that he's going to use. I didn't know we were doing names and ads.
I could have done that, but...
No, that would have been way less cool.
All right.
I also came dressed as John Daly. Just a T-shirt and a hat. Somebody has to be that guy.
All right. The number one draft pick. Well, that makes it seem like I cheated, but it's me. I drew my name first, so I will draw first. I did. I swear to God, I'm not cheating. I could have had her come down here in the basement and do it, but she's 8 months pregnant, and she doesn't want to walk down these stairs anymore. All right. Travis, you are the number 2 draft pick. Sorry, Randy.
This is rigged.
It is.
Visitors walk. Yeah.
Randy, you're number 3.
Nice.
But everyone okay with that? Do I need to redraw?
No.
Most of my mock drafts, I was 3rd anyway.
Okay.
So I'll get a nice top 3 pick. Guarantee it.
All right.
Man.
So now that we have the draft order in our heads, I will let that simmer for a moment and let us kind of collect our thoughts. And while we do that, let's talk about Undertaker sightings for the month of February before we jump into the draft here. Travis, there was a major one.
On-site reporter Leslie Nielsen.
For the Undertaker sightings?
Yeah. Just call back to last month.
Travis the Undertaker appeared on a show I did not know existed until a couple weeks ago, hosted by Ronda Rousey on ESPN Plus. And tell us, you had the chance to watch it. I don't know if you saw it, Randy, but
you seen it, Randy?
I don't have ESPN Plus. And
I don't
like
either.
You guys, I've never heard of it. Is this akin to? I know Peyton Manning had Peyton's Places.
It's It's an offshoot of that. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like Fear the Walking Dead from the Walking. It's just a little. It's same universe. Yeah. It says like from Peyton's Place. So yeah, it's Rowdy's whatever. Rousey's. I don't know what it's called. What's it called?
Rowdy's Places, I believe.
Oh, Rowdy's Places. Okay, that doesn't even have an alliteration.
No, it's not good.
No. Anyway, yeah. So I didn't know this existed until you texted me, and I have ESPN Plus because I have Disney Plus and Hulu bundle with it. So it was cheaper to get all that for like 2 years than it was to get them separately. So anyway, and I have 3 children who love Disney Plus, and so do I. But anyway, so yeah, I watched it. It's only about 20 minutes long. It's she's mega. She's about as pregnant as your wife right now. She's about 8 months pregnant in this video. She's super pregnant. But essentially, it seems like, just judging from the names of the shows, they just kind of pick a theme and then talk about it. Well, this one is called like The Greatest Showman. So I thought they were going to have Hugh Jackman there or something, but it was actually, it was actually Taker. So she sits down with him. He's like in L.A. with her or something. So I don't know what he's doing there, but they're in like a big like theater, like a old school like theater, and they just kind of talk about the origin of professional wrestling. You kind of briefly get into, he talks about it, and they have some, clips playing of, black and white footage of, just how wrestling began. It was just guys, literally wrestling at circuses, and then, became kind of it was a shoot, and then it became, hey, we can make this to work and make money off these people and yada yada. So he gives a little oral history of wrestling itself, and then she just kind of brings up like, well, how did it? You're one of the greatest showmen there is. You've been there 30 years. You've changed characters. You've gone to stuff we already talked about. And he says, she says, hey, how did that start? So he brings up Gorgeous George. He was the first showman, and it shows clips of George walking out and like you don't. Like watching the clips from the guys earlier, just 2 burly men in underwear, and like when Gorgeous George appears on the scene, like he really does change the game.
Sure.
Like
yeah.
He really does, man. Like he adds that theatricality, he adds the the sense of wonderment and awe, and he made you wonder too, like kind of a little ambiguous, which back then was a little bit cutting edge, it's a little bit taboo, So that was pretty cool, but to see that, and they talk about him and just kind of go through that a little bit, and then they just kind of come up all the way up to now, and they're just talking about Taker's career and show some clips of him, and they actually have the clip of him being introduced as Kane the Undertaker.
Oh, that's
they
cool.
actually have the audio, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
But and Taker tells a story we've all heard about how he's at home and the phone rings, and he's like, "Is this the Undertaker?" And he's tells the story of him putting the phone. Like, yes, it is. Talks about that and talks about how Vince, he's had this character for years, but he never had the guy to pick him. So he's like, he picked a big guy with no personality because that's what you need. And they kind of laugh about that, So, but anyway, let me just try to talk about some iconic stuff in his career and really focus on Hell in a Cell with Mick Foley. Kind of spend the meat of it talking about that and just showing how crazy it was and kind of walking you through that. And it's almost like she's watching for the first time. But, I mean, I hope she hadn't. But they're watching on this giant screen and everything. And then they just kind of talk about it, and then they close the show up. They're up in the rafters or like the balcony of this theater, and she's like, I have something here for you. It's a gift. And she pulls out like this mannequin dummy dressed like Mankind, and she's like, will you do me the honors of throwing him through this table right here? And so he's like, I got a surprise for you. And he pulls a mask out of like his back pocket, a Mankind mask, and puts it on. And she's like, you carry a mask with you? And it was just kind of funny, like. Because I was thinking the same thing, like, why do you have a mask in your pocket? But anyway, so he throws this Mankind dummy off and breaks the table, and that's it. So
okay,
it was neat. It was neat to see the old footage. Everything else, we've done to death on here, But it was pretty cool, and you could tell she was enamored with him, and like just she's a fan, especially of him. They talk a little bit about how he brings mixed martial arts in, and he was a fan of that, in the early days of UFC. So it was pretty cool to talk about her world too, So, but I recommend if you got 18 minutes. I mean, it's not very long. So
very cool. And, it's another example of Undertaker being in the mainstream, being in the conversation, being on another streaming app and having more eyes on the product and just how he crosses generations and crosses those boundaries. So,
and this
cool.
is before she came back to WWE. I mean, she was
right.
pregnant, and I mean now she's had her baby and stuff. So like this was, I don't know when this, I guess it just came out, but
I think it just came out. Yeah,
it coincides with her coming back. So she's bringing more eyes to WWE. Now he's bringing more eyes, to that particular product on ESPN. So pretty smart PR for them.
Well, cool. We are recording this a couple weeks before it does come out. So if there's any breaking news between now and then, we'll just have to cover it on the next episode of Talking Taker. Still no Hall of Fame announcement. I know, we got our fingers crossed. Plenty of other buzz going on around WrestleMania right now, but none of it involves our guy, The Undertaker. But we'll leave that for other podcasts to discuss, like the Bottom Line Wrestling Cast. So... All right, folks, if you're listening to this podcast, then I'm just going to assume that you have already heard the news, of course, that The Undertaker is going into the Hall of Fame here in 2022. He is going to headline this year's class of the WWE Hall of Fame. We recorded this episode 2 days before that announcement finally dropped. It is the curse of this podcast that seems to be every month some sort of new Undertaker news or video, something drops as soon as we finish recording the podcast. And of course, the biggest news of all drops after this one. I'm not going to insert the audio here, but Travis and I did record an emergency podcast breaking down our initial reactions to the Hall of Fame and some theories and thoughts and hopes for what his induction might look like, including our ideas for who might be the one to give the speech to induct The Undertaker. You can find that here in the podcast feed. You can also see the video of it on our YouTube channel as well, so go check that out. And now we take you back to the regularly scheduled podcast for the Ministry of Darkness draft. All right. Any other news and notes? Am I missing anything, Randy?
Nope, that's all I had heard of. I did see the clip online briefly of talking about Travis, like you were mentioning this The Undertaker?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So I did see that clip, that 2-minute clip, but I didn't get to see the whole thing. So it was nice to hear that Ronda Rousey was kind of enamored with him and the talk of pro wrestling, because I never know if she's legit shoot into pro wrestling or not, or if she's just there for the check, because her character is a little as such, where you're not really sure. So it was kind of cool to see or hear about her being enamored by talk about pro wrestling and the history of pro wrestling. It's kind of cool to hear.
Now you can tell she's a fan. You can tell, especially of him. I mean, how could you not be, dude? He's a freaking icon. So, yeah.
Well, he is iconic, and he is the one who we're going to build our drafts around this evening. Speaking of drafts and The Undertaker, quick footnote. We are coming up on the 20th anniversary of the first ever WWE draft. And on that night, The Undertaker was drafted second overall, number one to Monday Night Raw, but the second overall draft pick. And, of course, that was a classic reaction that Undertaker had. Very upset with Ric Flair drafting him.
He's so mad.
But I think we've mentioned this on the show before. Every other draft since then, The Undertaker was never drafted. He was never one of the people selected in the draft lotteries or however they formatted the draft since then, only in that very first ever draft. So I always thought that was just kind of interesting.
Yeah. It kind of reminds me of, remember Sid in his WCW days? He was hailing from wherever he damn well pleases. So maybe that was The Undertaker. He could show up anywhere he wants.
I thought you were going to say when Sid in his WCW days kept finding his car that would been run over by a monster truck by Goldberg. Goldberg!
So good. I love Sid. I love Sid. So
could be a draft choice here. Who knows? But
no, you have twice the brain that I do. He said, I have half the brain.
I have half the brain that you do.
And then Scott Hall just dying laughing. Like him and Nash are just actually laughing in the ring.
And then Nash has like Vince McMahon makeup on his face.
That's one of my favorite moments in Nitro ever.
Oh man. Well, all right, gentlemen.
That's another podcast.
Are we ready to get into this?
I am. I'm
The inaugural Ministry of Darkness draft. Okay, I have the first selection. Travis will be second. Randy is third. I'm not going to set a timer, but, we'll try to, if someone's taking too long, we might give them a buzz or something like that. But I think we can move through it here. Once again, real quick, everyone's got to take one manager, one tag team, one woman, 10 selections here. Everybody's got The Undertaker. So
there's no certain round we have to take managers and
nope,
women
whenever
and
you,
tags,
as long
right?
as long as you get them in there. All right, here we go. I'm nervous, but for the number one draft pick for my Ministry of Darkness, I think there's only one man who can be the initial number one draft pick. I don't know, maybe there might be two, but for me, this is the number one pick. It's gotta be Kane. You gotta have the Brothers of Destruction together as the number one pick. I'm selecting Kane.
Did I ever tell you guys on one of my past appearances how I think I invented Kane?
I don't think you did.
No.
When I was a kid and I was a Taker fan, 10, 11, 12 years old, I'm jumping off the couch onto the beanbag while watching on Saturday mornings. And I always thought, like, when I grow up, I'm going to be a wrestler like The Undertaker. And my gimmick, I didn't know the word gimmick then, but my character is going to be just like The Undertaker. I'm going to dress like The Undertaker. I'm, of course, going to grow up to be 7 feet tall like The Undertaker. I mean, why wouldn't I?
Yeah.
And I have long hair like The Undertaker, and I'll be like his twin. Matter of fact, they'll say that we're brothers, and I'll be his younger brother, and he's The Undertaker, so I'll be the Overtaker.
Wow.
Yeah, I remember I got out the old Webster's Dictionary because this is like 1992, and I'm looking up overtake to make sure it's an actual word, and it's a positive word too.
Yes.
So I was going to be the Overtaker. He was going to be the Undertaker. So
it does. It kind of works.
A couple years later, they do Undertaker, SummerSlam 94. A couple years later, they do Kane. I'm just saying, if they want to send the royalty check, I'll give them my new address.
Give them a new address. Build you a fourth story. Yeah.
I love it. Well, awesome. We can't take any fantasy characters here in this draft, so we can't take the Overtaker. That'd be a different podcast. We're dreaming up fantasy characters. But all right, Travis, your first round selection for your Ministry of Darkness.
Is it bad that I have several just in the docket just in case?
No, that's how you got to do it, man. That's how you got to format it here. Got to think strategically.
That one, Kane was up there for me because I think it's great. Just having what we know the Brothers of Destruction would become, and they'd just gone through that storyline together. I mean, if you're thinking of that the time and place in '99, like that would have been pretty cool. So, yeah, kudos, man, kudos. Yeah, he was on there. Oh man, okay, my number one pick is going to be controversial. Mm-hmm. It's Raven.
Ooh, number one pick, Raven.
My number one pick is Raven because Obviously, I'm a huge Raven mark. But I think having him be in a cult and not be the cult leader, and then seeing the storyline where that would go with him needing to then, become try to become the overtaker, overtake taker, and just the storylines that would come out of that, I thought would have been great. And just Raven in, I'm talking peak Raven. I'm not talking the one that was Gucci shop. I'm talking peak Raven that beat Tommy Dreamer for 2 years straight and never lost. Just that Raven, tortured soul, who could then, thought he knew everything, but then needed somebody to guide him. I think that's a cool Palpatine Vader type relationship you got going on there. So
I love that pick. I honestly did not write him down because I thought you would pick him. I didn't know it'd be your first round pick, but I thought you would get to him at some point. So
I did too. I had Travis taking Raven at some point. Yep.
Yeah. Everybody knew. Might as well go ahead and do it first.
All right, I like it. Randy, your first round selection.
So I am dressed for the occasion, by the way.
Yes.
You see all the NFL drafts where they are dressed up with their ball cap of their team.
Yeah.
I got the Gatorade here. Got the bottle of water on either end of the podium.
Perfect.
Good. So I'm going to go way off base because I'm going to take the long way around town. So I'm going to really go off track here. I think my first pick is going to be my tag team.
Okay.
And I'm going to go with not even a tag team that's probably what you're thinking of right now. I'm going to go with my first tag team, the Demolition, Axe and Smash.
Oh, I would have it on my list. That's awesome.
I think 3-time WWF Tag Team Champions. They're very Mad Max with their studs and their leather. Very Kiss with their Kiss face paint underneath their mask.
Love it.
And I think I'm the only person on planet Earth who liked Demolition more than the LOD. As a matter of fact, I was such a Yankee coming up, not really seeing WCW until the Monday Night Wars. I actually thought, only person on planet Earth, that
it was
LOD was the real Demolition. So when LOD came in, like 92, 91, I'm like, who are these guys that are trying to do shit? And it's always the inverse. Of course, Bruce Pritchard says that's not true, but I don't know. But and also possibly the greatest theme song ever.
He's a liar.
I have to.
Not Randy. Bruce Pritchard.
Not Randy. Bruce.
So I have to have Demolition's theme song in my ministry so I can dance on the table just like Pat McAfee does when Nakamura comes.
Oh yes. Oh. Yeah.
Man, what a picture you just painted with Demolition standing there as the enforcers in that Ministry of Darkness, dude. I freaking love that.
Think about like Super Shredder Taker and like the way they could have like built their stuff off of him. Yeah, they've been awesome, man. Good pick, dude. Good call.
And when they came apart a little early, in my opinion. I'm like 10 years old at the time, WrestleMania 7, but I was like, how is this over already? And
yeah. I agree.
Man and Crush, and then Axe was just gone, and.
So just to confirm, though, you're taking Axe and Smash.
Yes.
Okay.
Crush is still on the table.
Crush is still on the table. Okay.
Kona Crush.
I'm a big Kona Crush fan, All right, interesting. Wow, that did not go the way I thought it was going to go. So, okay. Now I'm even more nervous now because I don't know how your second round picks are going to go. But, man, there's still... Of course, many heavy hitters on the board here.
There's some ringers on the board.
Of course, dude. But I don't want to go fully chalk with my draft, even though it's kind of there. But I do have to take one to me that is a dream pick. To me, is a guy who he did have some interaction with The Undertaker later on in his career. Had a couple of big time matches with him. But to me, there's so much more meat on the bone for what their feud should have been. And Travis on the show, we talked about it. He would not have been the Overtaker, but he could have been the Sundertaker, in our opinion. I am talking about Bray Wyatt. Bray Wyatt is my number 2 pick to be in my Ministry of Darkness. Again, another guy who you could have him in the Ministry of Darkness, then you could have him break off and then start his Wyatt family and start this feud with the Ministry of Darkness. But gosh, just having those two guys stand next to each other in the ring as a tag team, possibly, to me, he's got to be my number 2 pick.
Yep.
I think Kane and Bray Wyatt were 1 and 2 on my regular wrestlers column on my on my left monitor. So I mean, you're doing pretty good getting the top 2 guys on my board anyway.
Oh yeah, those were top 2. Like if someone just a random guy could pick top 2, those are definitely dead ringers. So good job.
Can he do the Fiend too?
I mean, he is all in there. I am personally going to go specifically with Bray Wyatt. I think the Fiend is incredible, but I want him. I want him as the Bray Wyatt of 2012, 13 ish. That's what I'm picturing in my head. So
sure. Yeah.
All right, good. Travis, round 2 selection.
All right, I'm gonna go with my tag team right now, and because I'm afraid that something you just said scared me, because I'm afraid one of these guys will get taken. I'm gonna go with Chronic. Let me tell you. See, Brian Adams is still. Crush is still available, right?
Yes,
because he went with Axe and Smash.
He did. Yeah.
So Crush is available, right? Okay, I had to get it down here in case you took Crush later, dude. You're a huge Crush mark, Alex, so I had to take that. And here's the thing. All right, I know you're laughing, but I'm telling you.
Oh, I just wasn't expecting it. I love it.
Think about it. Think about it. I know
I'm here.
The WWF fans here are going to be like, you're an idiot. They suck. Okay, you have to watch them in WCW.
Yeah.
They were absolutely insanely over. Yeah. They were like whatever the next, they weren't Road Warrior pop type guys, but like they came out, they did what the Road Warriors did, they did what Demolition did, but they were a newer age, and they're Taker's buddies. They're dead ringers to be in the ministry, and they have a history there. If you want to bring that past in, you can. But also just I was saying this too. Acolytes. We love them now. They sucked in 90. Like that was not cool, man. Like, think about like when they were just like 2 random guys put together. Suddenly they have this stuff on their chest. Yeah, it's just like, are you kidding me? And like what they become now, we love. But then
because they became the APA. We love the APA. We didn't really love the Acolytes.
I don't love them as the Acolyte. I love the APA. But so I love Chronic from day one. These dudes just coming out busting heads. So I'm thinking of them as like doing what the APA would do, like, or what the Acolytes would be like. Seeing them, they could be dark, brooding. They're huge guys too, man. Just I don't want to put too many little people here. Like they're big jack guys. So anyway, that's my pick.
Dang,
Chronic.
Man, you defended it. You owned it.
I like the Alex coming with the 1-2 on my board, but I also like thinking outside the box. And a lot of my picks I think are thinking outside the box. And Chronic wasn't even on my radar. That's great.
Good. Well, he said something about Crush is still available. I was like, I gotta get Crush in there then.
I'm not showing you my notes because I don't want you to see everything else I've got, but I do have Crush on my list.
I see. Yeah, I had to go get him in early.
Have him on there. I love it, man. I can see it. I buy it, man. Totally. All right, Randy, hit us with another second round pick here.
Yeah, I'm still off the beaten path. I'm gonna take my manager right now.
Okay, I like it.
Also, good strategy. I don't think a manager anybody's going to take anyway, but I'm still going there early. I'm going to go with the Sinister Minister.
Ooh, he's on my list.
He's on my list, but way down on my list. Good job.
ECW's Evil Priest. He was kind of like their Crypt Keeper in 2000. He managed the Unholy Alliance of Tajiri and Whipwreck. And he managed Abyss technically in TNA, and as James Vandenberg, he even managed Mortis in WCW. So I just thought having him as that manager guy, that with his red suit and his black shirt, his widow's peak, and he's got like those upside down V's for eyebrows.
Oh yeah,
that guy with his mic ability, I'm ready, top notch. Put him with the Undertaker and Demolition.
100%.
That's great.
Like, I think he gets slept on because he was never in WWE. Like, but he was awesome in WCW. He was great in TNA. Even he spent some time there. Mm-hmm. Like Father James Mitchell. Like, what a great character. I don't know if either one of you saw the Dark Side of the Ring on Canyon, but he's like the star of that episode as well. Tells some incredible stories on there. A wonderful pick, fantastic pick, Randy.
Yeah,
I love it.
I love it.
One of the top managers available, I think.
Yeah.
Whew. Okay. Round 3. I'm kind of rethinking my board here with what you guys are throwing out there.
We're leaving a lot open still.
You did.
A lot of good stuff open.
There is, but yeah, I know. I don't want to just be obvious though. Oh, man. All right. So you've taken tag teams. You've taken managers. I'm going to take the first female off the board here.
Oh no.
I had some, have many. Well, I won't give it away, but this one to me was not my initial first choice, but the more I thought about it, the more I was drawn to her. Thinking about the different things that she could do, and I am going to use her as my woman's pick, but she could end up, she could play a managerial role as well. She could play multiple roles here, but she originally was a wrestler, and just so much versatility, so much personality and energy every time she's on the screen. I'm picking Sensational Sherry as my women's pick. Nice. And I could just imagine her, face paint and just screaming on the outside.
Yeah.
So much character and personality that she had when she was with the Macho Man and stuff like that. I could see her bringing that to the Ministry of Darkness.
Awesome.
One of her names is Scary Sherry.
Scary Sherry.
Wants to be in the ministry, right?
Yeah, that's how I'm thinking.
Great call, man. Great call.
I love it that she could double. I mean, I know you're taking her as one of your female picks.
Yes.
You're right, double as a manager or as a valet. And I once told my wife, who was not so hot on wrestling, I said, hey, Trish Stratus started off as a valet, and then she ended up as a 7-time women's champion. Deanna's like, no, she wasn't. I'm like, no, really, she was a valet. She worked her way up the ladder. She busted herself, and Deanna looked at me skeptically, and she was like, Trish Stratus parked cars before she was a champion.
Not quite.
Not that kind of ballet.
Oh, that's amazing.
But I like it. Scary Sherry. I like it.
Okay, that's my first that's my female pick. All right, Travis, round 3 selection.
I'm going to go with my female pick as well. Go ahead and get them. Mine is I can't. This is the first female I thought of to go in here, and I think she fits like a glove, and she is versatile, and she's done a lot of stuff. And her name is Victoria.
Ooh, okay.
Just the Widow's Peak, the tattoo song. What was it? All the things she said. Just that crazy Victoria who was tormented and stuff, and she was with Stevie Richards, and just she has so much to offer. When she went to TNA, she had an amazing career in TNA as Hera. Yeah. She was insane. But I've always had a soft spot for Victoria. I thought she doesn't get the all the praise she deserves. So I think she'd fit wonderfully in the ministry.
I think Collecting Dead Man said on his last episode, I think Victoria had a podcast or an interview recently. I didn't hear it, but she attributed a lot of her breakout character to The Undertaker.
Oh.
And the whole, just finding your identity. And, I forget, Undertaker said you remind me of somebody. And Steven said who it was, a movie character, and I don't remember. And so she went with that. And that's when she started doing the spider stuff.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm. And then, just took it and ran with it and ended up blowing up for her. So she kind of thanked The Undertaker for her success. So,
her name, Tara, was from Tarantula. She used to do the Tarantula. She had everything was all themed around that spider type stuff. Yeah, pretty cool. So
yeah.
Yep.
I like it.
Anyway.
I did not have her on my list, but it would make a great case for her. I could totally see that. Awesome. All right, Randy, third round selection.
Okay, I'm finally going to go to the regular wrestlers column.
Okay.
Still going to be a little off the beaten path, but I want my main guy, my heavy, standing next to The Undertaker. I want it to be from Lucha Underground, Mil Muertes. I want Lucha Taker to be standing next to The Undertaker. The former Pascual Mendoza is his character's name, who was 7 years old when his entire family died in an earthquake in Mexico City. So now he's shouldering all these deaths, and he's just man of 1,000 deaths. Mil Muertes, former Lucha Underground champion, and I think he just showed up at MLW. I think he just showed up there. So even back when Lucha was happening, I thought, man, that guy's Lucha Taker. I would love to see him standing next to the Undertaker. So here we go.
Man, another one I did not have on my board.
I didn't have that on my radar. That's awesome, though.
I love it, dude. I love that you you went to the depths there, and picked one that was off the beaten path, but absolutely totally makes sense and fits the ministry that you're building. Man, excellent selection there.
He was such a monster on Lucha Underground, but I don't know if he's. I don't know how tall he is, so I'd love to see him stand next to Taker to see if he's anywhere near 6'10". But on Lucha Underground, he's huge.
Seemed like a monster. Yeah. All right. So entering round 4 here. This is just I'm.
You throwing off?
I'm tongue-tied, man. I don't know where to go here, because like I want to get my big picks, but I feel like y'all are not quite going down the same path that I was going here. So, interesting. Okay, I'm gonna pick a guy for my number 4 pick. Yep, I'm picking this guy. I'm picking a guy who, Travis, you picked a couple friends of The Undertaker in the last round. I'm going to pick another in real life friend of The Undertaker and a friend of the show on Talking Taker. I am picking Charles Wright, but more specifically, I am picking Papa Shango to be in the Ministry of Darkness and to bring the voodoo and to bring the face paint and just a character, man, that I feel like did not get its due in the WWF. He just, as a child, jumped off the TV for me. I had his Hasbro figure, and I loved playing with that one. And I think he should have been a top guy, and it never quite made sense that he wasn't, and that he never had that run with The Undertaker. There was always that talk of him coming in '97, possibly for another run, and I think that would have been so interesting to see him in the Attitude Era. So that's why I'm picking Papa Shango with my number 4 pick.
Awesome. That's a great pick. That's the first pick that kind of got stolen. It got poached off my board of hopefuls. You know, you got those guys. You're like, man, I hope he's going to be available later. And I didn't put him down. I knew he would get taken. So, like, he can loan Undertaker pants if he needs them.
Which I found those.
Right, you did. You found them. And I mean, he made the Warrior puke on TV. Like,
he absolutely did. All right, Travis, your round 4 selection for your Ministry of Darkness.
I'm going to get back to characters, to wrestlers. I'm going to go with a guy who I just think this is going to be good. I hope so. I hope you guys like it. But I'm going to go with Vampiro.
Dang it!
Yeah!
Dang it!
All right. So Vampiro, I mean, I know you and Alex and I, we loved Vampiro when he was first in WCW. How'd you feel about him, Randy? Did you know him like in WCW days, or do you know the old fat, washed-up commentator from Lucha Underground now?
No, I did. I knew him towards the close of WCW. Okay. So I knew that Vampiro, and then I was shocked in Lucha Underground, and they said, "Hey, this is Vampiro here with Matt Stryker." I'm like, that's the same guy?
It's Matt Stryker and Fat Stryker. But anyway, Vampiro, so that character, and he had his own like Deadpool thing in WCW in the Insane Clown Posse, and he had Great Muta, and he had Kiss Demon and stuff. But like, he, same vein as Raven for me, just like great, and like he would have been cool to have been just Undertaker and learning under it, and just see him there as the kind of smaller guy that could do maybe even in the light heavyweight division, you know, could wrestle in that, you know. So just seeing him standing next to Taker up there with my boys Chronic and with Raven, I'm visioning it all, and I love the pick of Vampiro.
Yeah, me too. I thought I was gonna get that one by you, man. Dang it! Great pick, great pick. You got to have him there like that. Yeah, that WCW Vampiro.
Yeah.
Could have been. I mean, he kind of was a top guy there for a moment, but
yeah.
You know, if WCW had hung around a little bit longer,
he should have won the world title like by New Blood Rising. And
would have been cool,
that. Like,
man. They could have gone with him.
Yeah.
All right, Randy. Who you got for your round 4 selection?
Well, now after having Papa Shango poached from me, now I feel like I got to stop fooling around and like get to it.
It's time to go. It's go time.
It's go time. So I'm going to get to Jake the Snake Roberts.
Oh wow. What a pick. What a 4th round selection.
Yeah, because I don't know how long he'll be there. So I you know, all of Jake Roberts, obviously the psychology, how he moves in the ring like a snake even when he rolls in and out of the ring. But more so for me, when I thought of Jake Roberts, I thought of The Undertaker and Jake Roberts in '91 interrupting Macho Man and Elizabeth's reception.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Like, so they were kind of a team already before Taker was even, you know, The Undertaker that we would come to know. Yeah. And I just love that heel Jake Roberts with the trust me music. And, you know, when Warrior wanted to learn the dark side, and so for like 3 weeks, like, Jake was going to teach him how to be the Undertaker, and he buried him up to his neck in the cemetery, and he locked him in a dark room full of snakes, and he's teaching him the dark side, and then we find out the is torturing you. I'm actually with the Undertaker. I mean, like, don't trust a snake. Like, I love that. I want that guy in my ministry.
Yep. Great pick, man. I had him down on my list. I thought he might get stolen first, so that's good. Good call, man.
Sure.
Excellent.
He could even be a manager too. You know, like he can just talk.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah. You could use 2022 Jake Roberts.
Yeah.
You know, as a manager. I love that. Oh wow. Okay, I'm thrown off again, man. We've got 6 rounds left. Entering the 5th round of the draft here. Both Travis, you've taken your tag team and your woman. Randy, you've taken your tag team and your manager, and I have only taken my woman. So I still have to get a tag team and a manager in here. But I think I'm still gonna go with a regular singles wrestler with my next pick. And all right, Travis, you took Vampiro off the board. I'm gonna take a guy. I think you might have thought about him, but he also could have gone to Randy as well based on one of his picks. I am going with Mortis from WCW. Chris Kanyon, aka Mortis. I think he goes right along with Papa Shango. I could even see them in a tag team together with the mask and the face paint. Just another character.
So good.
The Mortal Kombat influence.
Yeah.
Such great in-ring work. Kind of forgotten about and slept on, but I think one of the coolest WCW characters of all time.
Innovator of offense, man. Canyon's so good. He's a utility guy you can put anywhere. He can do serious comedy, Power Ranger, Mortal Kombat guy. He can do anything. He's so good, man. And he had brief interactions with Taker in the Alliance. But, yeah, that's a great pick, dude. I definitely had him on my list. I was hoping nobody would think of the Mortis character.
I had to, man. You took Vampiro off the board, and it screwed me up.
I know. I had Vampiro and Mortis together as like a tag team. Oh, man.
He was going next. He was going next to me. So that's
really?
Oh! Coached. I had Skull Scepter, Skull Mask.
Yes.
Skull face paint. Like, I need more skulls in my ministry, and Randy Orton's tattoos were not available, so I wanted Mortis.
All right, made the right choice. I love it,
man.
All right, Travis.
All right, well, I'm
halfway point, 5th selection.
I'm gonna leave my manager on the board, and hopefully, y'all don't take that person. And I'm gonna go with somebody who I think is an obvious choice that we've left on the board.
Sure.
And I'm gonna take Abyss.
Oh,
Dang.
So
I was picking between Abyss and
Yeah.
Mortis. That was my two that I was making a decision between. Wow.
Big boy can work. I mean, obviously, there's so many similarities to Kane, in Mankind or whatever. So I get it that it was Kane like, but like Abyss is a good dude, man. He's a good worker. Just seeing him as that tortured soul underneath Taker slapping him around, and just getting him, and it just would have been cool to see that, iteration. Again, another big hoss I need in there because I got little guys like, a Vampiro and a Raven who's not gigantic. So how do you get another hoss in there?
I think you do. I think you need a big man like that. Looking at your draft board, and that is the perfect selection, man. Dang it.
On my little flow chart, I have, if not Mortis, then Abyss.
Yeah, both gone.
Well, it's time for you to steal someone from us, Randy. Who's your 5th round selection?
Yeah, so I think I'm just going to look up, and I'm going to ad-lib here and kind of go. Some of the guys that I thought would have been gone by now, and I'm kind of glad that they're still there in light of what's happened. I think I'm going to take early Mankind. I think I'm going to take Mick Foley.
Yeah.
Add
Good
him
call.
to that list.
Good call.
I mean,
And you know what? Oh, go ahead.
Or he could be Cactus Jack, I guess. He could be Cactus Jack from the Dungeon of Doom. I mean, he could do that too.
I was say you could even take the Mankind from that era, like they had just come off Hell in a Cell '98 and all that stuff, and you could even Taker could have even brought him in. Like, it would have made sense storyline-wise to bring him in and kind of mold him back to that old Mankind. He'd lost his edge. That'd be kind of cool, even then. But yeah, good call, man. I definitely had that. I'm sure Alex did too.
Yeah, in my world, he doesn't get to the sock. He goes back to 96. Absolutely,
man. And those two guys are intertwined forever. Those we all think of the Hell in a Cell with Undertaker and Mankind, but those 96 matches with Undertaker and Mankind are just incredible.
Mankind beats him.
Beats him like 3 months in a row.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, repeatedly. Great stuff. Great selection, Randy. Another heavy hitter off the board. All right, so we're halfway through here. We've each selected 5 draft picks for our Ministries of Darkness and 5 left. So entering the 6th round here.
You still got a tag team and a manager, right?
Still got my tag team and manager, and I don't think y'all are going to take who I'm thinking of. So, and y'all have both taken your tag teams, so I feel like I'm safe on there. I'm probably going to leave them for a while. But I'm going to take a guy. I want to take someone. I want to pay my respects to the original Ministry of Darkness. So I want to take an original Ministry of Darkness member here. And for that reason, I'm going to take a guy who, like we said, was only briefly in the ministry, felt like it could have been more. I'm going to take Gangrel for my number 6 selection here. Be able to bring the bloodbaths and to bring the vampire teeth and the music, the entrance. Man, if there's ever any wrestler that was his entrance was him, it was Gangrel, because I don't remember a dang Gangrel match. I don't remember one, but I remember his entrance, man, and I freaking loved it. So I'm adding him to my ministry.
That music is worth the pick alone, and then like you said, the not the bloodbath, because they would never mention blood. It was the It was the viscous liquid. That's what they would always say.
And how iconic is it that, I mean, it's being referenced here in 2022 with Edge. Edge is still bringing back that stuff from Gangrel 24 years ago.
Yep.
Come on.
Awesome, man. That's
all right,
awesome.
Travis.
That's a great call.
Your number 6 selection.
I'm going to go ahead and get my manager in there, and I'm going to go with somebody who I love, this guy. And he's a great talker. Used to be a wrestler. Fantastic talker. And his character, this particular iteration of this manager, I think is the best, and that's the Jackal.
Oh, that's not what I thought you were going to say.
No. Jackal, I think. And he was even with, didn't he kind of have the APA or the Acolytes before they went? Wasn't he with, he was with Recon and all those guys, then he was with Acolytes before they kind of went to, and they just kind of dropped that storyline. Then they went to the ministry. So I think Jackal, just even back then, dude, I love Don Callis. He can talk. He can get you to hate him. Ministry was heels. Yeah. Just having him as that mouthpiece. Yeah. Do you guys remember his work as Cyrus the Virus in 2000, ECW?
Oh, yeah.
He was amazing. He's amazing now with Kenny Omega. Like, he is so good. And just seeing him back then, and again, it would have fit. They could have just parlayed it from the Jackal to right in the ministry. It would have made sense. I love Jackal.
I believe they were called the Jackalites for like 2 weeks. The Acolytes. Managed by the Jackal.
I think you're right.
Dude, excellent pick. That is not who I thought you were going to say, but excellent pick.
I had 4 people on my manager board that I thought could possibly fit into the ministry. I didn't even think of the Jackal. That's amazing.
Good.
Yeah.
Because I had other people, and I was like, they're obvious. I wanted to pick this one. I think he's a great talker, and it would have fit storyline-wise. You could have made it him. He had the little jewel on his head. He was kind of a mind cult leader.
Kind of the cult leader type thing. Totally, man. I totally
pulling
get
the strings with Taker. Yeah.
Cool pick. All right, Randy, your number 6 selection.
I think I'm going to go with a female wrestler.
Yep.
And I think I'm going to go with Su Yung from TNA.
Okay. All right.
I love Su Yung. I'm borderline. Like, I don't buy shirts that are not Taker shirts. Maybe CM Punk. But I don't really do. You got to be my guy or my gal, and I've been close to pulling the trigger on a Su Yung shirt for a couple times.
Nice.
She's like the Mick Foley of the women's division.
Yeah.
She could be, the businesswoman Susan. She can be little sweet Susie, or if one of those two characters get pushed the wrong way or hit in the head a little too hard, she kind of turns into the Incredible Hulk, like Banner turning into the Incredible Hulk, and she becomes Su Yung, the undead bride, which fits into this. And I'm hoping if Su Yung comes, then she also comes with the nameless, faceless undead bridesmaids, because then I'm hoping they can date Taker's nameless, faceless druids, and I can have the municipality of darkness.
Oh, wow. Amazing. Good call,
dude. I love it, man. We've brought in ECW, WCW, Lucha Underground, TNA. We brought in all of it here into this Ministry of Darkness. I appreciate you guys. You understood the assignment. This is what I had envisioned here. I love it. We've all got 4 choices left here to round out the board. You guys have all taken your mandatory tag team women manager. I still have my tag team and manager, so I gotta get those in these next 2 picks. And I got 2 other picks here, so I am stalling because I don't know what to do.
You have no pressure. You can get your last 2 as your tag team and your women.
I know.
You might go ahead and get your other heavy hitters in.
But
that's the advantage you have.
Sue Young later, but I'm also stalling, so I took Sue Young sooner.
Okay.
Just to give me some
time. But I really appreciate how you guys have kind of gone off the beaten path here and done some unique selections. I am going to select. Oh, wow. All right. This is one that I don't think you guys are going to pick, but I want to throw him out there. And he's going to play the role in the Ministry that like Viscera played, but I'm not going to pick Viscera, although I love Viscera. Another large brawler type guy that I think would just be insane if you brought the peak of this guy to the Ministry of Darkness. And forgot to bring my fork down here, but I'm picking Abdullah the Butcher to put in my Ministry of Darkness.
Abby,
he's bringing
awesome.
The House of Ribs and Chinese food to the Ministry of Darkness.
We've eaten there. Gave us.
Unfortunately, we have, but
straight stomach cancer.
He's bringing he's going for the hardcore title here with the fork and the blood, and he's going against Mankind and Randy's Ministry of Darkness. Abdullah the Butcher is my 7th round pick.
Wow, I love that.
I've got a book of wrestlers and villains from wrestling's villains and faces from 1983, and he's in there, and I'm 10 flipping through this, going, who is this guy with the bloody forehead that
giving
looks
you
like
nightmares?
And also, side note, Alex, maybe the best rack in wrestling. Just gonna put it out there. Good
job. Awesome.
That's it's added benefit to that choice.
Yes. All
right, Travis, your number 7 round draft pick.
All right, I'm going with somebody who. Okay, I'm thinking about this. Okay, I have set the table here. This is somebody who we mentioned earlier in the podcast at the demise of the Ministry. And I'm going with Big Show. But here's the thing. Okay. I'm going with a debuting Big Show. Big Show debuts in the Ministry. Like, he debuts, change his debut from screwing Austin or making Austin win. But have him debut. Yeah. He does something to help take. I
hear what you're saying.
Or, a debuting, because Big Show, did he make an impact? It was his, yes. What did he do after that? At first, he did nothing. I mean, he just, make him debut with this icon that's Taker, who's gonna have a main event. Like you already said, he was like the heel besides McMahon during this time. So have a debuting Big Show there. He's already gonna be hand in hand with him, and you've already taken Kane. So I'm thinking we love that tag team, that early tag team with Big Show and Taker.
Yeah, we did.
Those matches with Kane and X-Pac is one of my favorites. It's so good. But so I'm thinking Big Show debuts as part of the Ministry. It's a whole different. He's not going to come out and be the Big Show. He won't be Paul White light. He won't be WWF's version of Paul White. He'll be a different. He'll be honed by the Taker, and they can kind of play off of that, from him coming over from WCW, and I don't know, whatever. But I just think it would have had a bigger impact for Paul White, the human, and it would have just been a cool spot for him to be in because he wound up there anyway at the end of the Ministry. So going with somebody again, Big Show, we laugh about him. He's a Hall of Fame, but he's kind of whatever. But I think a debut for him to be in the Ministry would be really cool. And just seeing them side by side as he starts off his WWF career, awesome.
So not debuting as your brother, but just going straight to Big Show stuff. Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
You go back to where did he debut in WCW? The Dungeon of Doom. He was the giant in the Dungeon of Doom. He was the monster there. Yeah. So maybe he could drive his monster truck into the arena, have a monster truck matchup against Stone Cold. I like it, man. I like it. Another monster there to add to your faction. Okay, I dig it. All right, Randy, 7th round selection.
Yep, I think this is going to be a replacement pick, just like Cactus Jack was a little bit of an ad-libber because I lost Mortis, and this one will replace Abyss. I think I'm going to go with. I didn't think I'd be here. I'm going to go with Darby Allin.
Wow!
On my list. Yeah.
Not even on my radar. Cool.
I don't have a small guy. I don't have if you look at my list of people, I don't have that small Daredevil type guy.
You need that.
Sure.
Machine. And he fits, obviously. He fits the aesthetic, I think, clearly.
Yeah.
Whether it's slamming people into coffins or rolling off of cliffs in body bags, whatever he's doing.
He is,
wonderful.
Obviously we think of X-Pac heat as like a bad thing in 2022, but Darby Allin is like the X-Pac of 2022 in a lot of ways. Like, because if you look at X-Pac 98, like one of the most over guys on the roster. I mean, the crowds loved him, putting on great matches every night. And Darby Allin is that guy right now, man. Like, he is so freaking fun to watch. He's had a coffin match.
Yep.
So he's carried on the Undertaker's legacy of the coffin match. You gotta love
light
that.
Heavyweight casket matches. That'd be awesome. Yeah, good call, man.
Dude. Excellent choice. Yeah, he's on my list, dude. Great pick. Okay, 8th round selection. I am, I feel like you guys just kind of left me with a layup here, and I love how you guys have just gone off the beaten path and kind of created your own unique versions here, but it just would not be right if I left Paul Bearer off of the draft board here. Like, he's got to be selected, man. And I kind of had wanted to select a different manager, but you guys have stolen some of the great ones that I would have picked with the Sinister Minister. So that's not to say that Paul Bearer is a consolation prize, because I mean, come on, he's Paul Bearer. He's an original Ministry member. And I just don't think it'd be right if we didn't add him to the draft board. So he's going to be my number 8 selection as my manager pick.
It's like getting Tom Brady in the 7th round, right?
Like, you guys just kind of left him there for me. I kind of thought I honestly thought he'd be the 2nd or 3rd pick off the board. So I'm shocked.
I thought he'd be gone by one of you two, so I just left him. That's why
Fair
I
enough.
Jackal, so.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Yep, me too.
Fair enough. All right, Travis, your 8th round selection.
Oh, all right. I'm going to go with somebody. This is kind of in the same vein. I already had this guy way up on my list, but same vein is kind of what Randy was thinking. I need a small guy. Just for the light heavyweight. I know I already got Vampiro, but I need an even smaller guy. And I'm going to go with somebody that's Billy Kidman. Think of the star he is. Yeah, the 7-year itch. Think of the mind control Raven had over him. Kidman.
Yes.
I think Kidman, even darker Kidman. Yeah, I just think, and then this kind of matches he'd put on WWF at the time, they didn't really have that stunning light heavyweight division. I just think of him and X-Pac going out there, him and Aguila, it's awesome. I think Kidman. Man.
Put some respect on Billy Kidman's name, man. He deserves it, dude. What a great, underrated performer. One of my favorites to watch in WCW.
Yeah,
man, absolutely. Great pick. Thanks, I love that.
Another one that wasn't even on my list, and I thought.
No, but it makes sense, dude.
Yeah.
It's one of the stars of the flock, dude. That Shooting Star Press, man, blew my mind the first time I saw Shooting Star Press.
Oh yeah.
Love it. That beaded choker necklace, like beater, and oh my gosh.
And a Hall of Famer just for pulling Tori Wilson too. I mean,
sure.
He's in the Hall of Fame in my opinion, just for that. All right. Randy, 8th round pick, coming to you.
Now, so my last 3 are going to be fun. So,
all right.
I'm going to go beaten path again. These are 3 I was pretty sure that nobody was going to select, and I was just going to get them because I'm weird. I'm going to go with my top 3 bands. 2 of them are Dave Grohl related, Foo Fighters and Nirvana. The other one is Kiss. So I can't have a Ministry without the Kiss demon. I want
Dale Torborg, baby. Yes, sir.
Yes.
I love that. They, of course, WCW brought him out in '99 at Brian Adams first, right, for a couple of appearances. And Bryan Adams really wasn't into Kiss, didn't love it. But then they offered it to Dale Torborg, who played baseball. He was an athlete, but he was in the power plant. And they were like, how would you like to play this character? And Dale Torborg loved Kiss. And he kind of had it as a passion project. And so I guess Kiss was supposed to get, all 4 members were supposed to get a wrestler with their likeness. And they started with the Demon. Yeah. And it was mishandled so badly, we never got to the other 3. But I thought it was just so cool to see Kiss on Nitro playing a concert to a bunch of non-Kiss fans that didn't care. But that's how they introduced
I didn't care.
Right?
They came up in the coffin, it opened up, and the entrance was awesome.
Oh, it was awesome. Yeah.
I loved it, and I just thought I've got to have the Kiss Demon with the demon paint and the spitting the blood and the tongue. I got to have that in my ministry for sure. Being somebody that's seen Kiss live 8 times. Yeah.
Good call, man.
I definitely thought about it and considered it, but I'm glad that you
thought Randy's going to pick him, so I didn't
That's
have him
true.
on the list.
Yeah.
I had that on your list. I had that on your list, yeah.
Randy, you probably watched it, but there's a great interview on the Major Wrestling Figure Podcast YouTube channel with Dale Torborg, like an hour-long interview where he just talks about that whole process of becoming the Demon and the whole background on it. Very, very interesting and seemed like a very cool guy.
Yeah, like, I just, they asked me if I wanted to do this massive gimmick and then become friends with Kiss forever, and I'm just like, what? And I was a weirdo. I, of course, wasn't alive for Kiss in the 70s, but I got into Kiss in high school when they came back with their makeup in the 90s. So my best friend in high school was big into them, and I'm just in the car with him all the time, driving to school and back, and I kind of picked it up. And fast forward 20 years later, I don't even know if he listens to Kiss anymore. It's all me. And
it's all you.
So I took it and ran with it, yeah.
Do you have the Demon FTC figure?
Yeah, I do. It's packed up because we're
good.
moving, but I did buy that, and I left it in the package and everything. Yep.
Good on you. All right, 2 rounds left, boys. We've made it to the final rounds here. Randy, you chose to, like you said, you're having a little fun with it here. I've still got to get in my tag team, so I'm going to do that here, and I'm going to leave my 10th selection as a bit of a wild card, kind of based on what you guys do. And I'm kind of basing my tag team, I guess, kind of on both of what you guys had here. I want to have more power, kind of 2 enforcers here on my list, and I'm gonna pick. Oh man, I'm gonna pick the Powers of Pain from the WWF from the 80s, the Warlord and the Barbarian, because can you have 2 better wrestling names than the Warlord and the Barbarian? Are you kidding me?
And the Undertaker all together. That's awesome, dude. Good call.
Much like Randy's Demolition, they'll have the face paint and just bring in the power. I'm going with the Powers of Pain.
I love that we all picked just a beastly tag team to be there. That's great. None of us picked I don't know, kind of MSK. New guys.
Well, go ahead, Randy.
I thought the Road Warriors would be first off.
I've had them on my list.
They're on my list as well. Yep.
I wanted to go differently and went with Chronic. So
yeah, I kind of want to go with Powers of Pain, not just to be totally obvious, but Travis, I will say I'll save it for after we're done. I don't want to give anything away, but I have a different tag team that you messed up, but we'll get into that later. All right, number 9, 9th round pick.
I messed up.
You messed it up. Yeah, you screwed it up.
Okay. Oh, this is me. Oh,
yeah, you're you. Yeah.
Okay, this is number 9. I got one more after this. Let's see. All right. I'm going to go with a guy who I thought would have gone way earlier on in this whole entire thing. Well, there's actually 2 guys I have on here. I'm only going to pick one of them, though. Flip a coin, which one I want. All right. I'll take this one. I'm going to go with Aleister Black.
Yep.
Or whatever his name is now. What's his name now?
Malachi
Black, yeah. Tommy End, whatever. Personally, I like the guy a lot as far as just listen to him talk in interviews. But you can tell he's obviously influenced by Taker. And again, apparently I'm building a tiny stable with guys like Black and Kidman and Vampiro. But I'm trying to get big guys like Show and Chronic
Abyss,
in there too,
Chronic,
Abyss.
yeah.
So, yeah, trying to get a little healthy dose of everybody. Aleister Black's got it pegged for that Intercontinental European title level right there, but just seeing his entrance with Taker at that time, dude, you kidding me? especially like his new entrances in AEW are pretty cool with the skull thing and the moose skull and all that stuff. Yeah, but even his entrance. Yeah, Taker. Yeah, yeah, that'd be awful. But yeah, Aleister Black I thought would go way earlier on, so that's my dead ringer pick.
Well, dude, if you would have told me two people you would have drafted, it would have been Raven and Aleister Black. Those were my top two guys I thought you would have drafted. Yeah, I was waiting on you to get them.
I love his theme song in AEW, which I understand I think that's Brody King's band. I think I read.
I think it is Brody King. Yeah,
that's cool. Screaming song, but that fits his character so well. And he's done more in, I don't even know, 6 months in AEW than he did in 2 years in WWE. It just shows you if you present the character right.
But in NXT, he was done well. He was perfect in NXT.
Yes.
Yeah, and his theme music was incredible. And his entrance is incredible. His whole aura was amazing and just lovely, done so well. And just that with the Vince Russo mind behind it and 99 ministry stuff. You can imagine the stuff they could have got away with, man. It's been awesome.
Sure.
And he's great in the ring. I love watching him work, man.
Yes.
Forget all the character stuff. I love watching him work. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Excellent pick, my friend. Randy, your second to last selection.
So this was originally my female pick. So I'm going to take a second female here, but I knew.
Shoot.
I was enticed by Su Yung. I went with Su Yung, but the reason why I waited so long on this one is there's 0% chance that either of you will take this.
Okay.
As smart and learned as you are, I just don't think anybody's going to go there.
Uh-oh.
I'm going to go with from 1988's Gorgeous Ladies of Wrestling. I am going to go with Big Bad Mama, who was...
Wow.
Big Bad Mama was a voodoo queen. So she's Papa Shango, but she's a big woman. And she's got the black and white face paint. And she's wearing like the ragdoll dress. And she is most notably known for flattening Al Bundy on an episode of February 1990.
Yeah, buddy. Yeah, buddy.
So Al Bundy goes to Vegas. I forget how, but he goes to Vegas and he's trying to make money. He's always a horseshoe salesman. And they say, survive 10 minutes with a glow girl. And he thinks he's going to get in the ring with Lady Godiva or Becky the farmer's daughter. And it ends up being Big Bad Mama comes out and she ends up squashing him from the middle rope. And he's basically in a vegetative state like Taker in 2010. So that's how that ends. Love Big Bad Mama. Alex, my dream was to take Papa Shango, the voodoo daddy, and Big Bad Mama, the voodoo mama, and I'd have the mamas and the papas, but you ruined it.
You could take number 10 as Scott Steiner, the Big Bad Voodoo Daddy.
He is still available. You're right. Wow, what a selection, Randy.
What a call, buddy.
This is why we invited you to be the third man here on this draft pick, because not a single person in the world would have selected that. Nope. But I love it.
Insane.
You made the case for it. Final round here, boys. Get your picks in while you got them here. 10th round. I was also going to select a woman. Man, I'm just torn now because I want to come in strong here at the end. I've got some other names on the list.
Well, you could fizzle out like the ministry did. It's fine. Just pick some I mean, I might. I got several picks I might fizzle out with.
You know what? I'm gonna go with my gut. It's not quite as off the wall as Randy's pick, but this was gonna be my my original woman's pick, but I really felt strongly about Sensational Sherry. And this is another one. I've clearly been influenced by watching the latest season of Dark Side of the Ring. And I'm going to go with just one of the scariest, craziest women to ever compete in the history of professional wrestling. She can be a wrestler. She can be a manager. She can do whatever she wants to do. I'm picking Luna Vachon as my 10th round draft pick. And just someone, mean, I remember seeing her as a kid and just being fascinated by her and being scared to death of her. And I think pairing her with The Undertaker could bring some incredible television there. So that's going to be my final selection.
Great call. And you got Gangrel too, right?
I do have Gangrel. Yep.
Yeah. So, I mean, and they could have done intergender stuff, mixed tag matches. Sure. So that'd been awesome, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, seeing her. The stuff she'd paint on the side of her head and all that, she'd have been great, dude, in the ministry. That'd have been awesome. Yep. Good call. Yep.
Put a Taker symbol, the XT there on the side of her
shaving
skull.
in her hair. She's wild, man.
She's insane.
She frightened me, man.
Yeah.
I love the Harvey Two-Face. You know, she's kind of like from this angle, you're like, oh, she's not a bad-looking lady. That's pretty cool. And she can wrestle awesome. And then she goes like this, and then she starts talking like that.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah. Awesome.
All right, Travis, your final selection. Who's it gonna be?
Man, I got a few people left on my board here. Yeah. Well, y'all picked two women. I feel like I have to pick a woman.
You don't have to. No.
I wasn't going to.
You don't have to. Not at all.
I don't think. All right. So, oh man.
Plenty of strong talent in every department.
There's one I want to say, but he's gonna be a tool. Anyway, let me be my number 11.
You got to have a fall guy, you know.
All right. All right. Ready? Here he is, number 10. My boy, Stevie Richards.
Yes!
All right. Here's the thing. He's got the history of Raven and Raven's Nest and Raven's Flock and all that. I'm honestly trying to build storylines here out of this ministry. I'm thinking of how they're going to break away. Again, the whole Raven thing, Aleister Black, Vampiro, they've all kind of got the same thing going on. Stevie Richards was always a lackey. Never the guy. Always a lackey. I got Victoria in my stable too. They were. I think Stevie, like you said, got to have a fall guy. Kidman can't take the fall every time. Vampiro can't. I want to build him up as a strong character. Stevie Richards is there to take the pinfalls like Midian kind of was. Stevie Richards, European title type contender maybe, hardcore, whatever. So yeah, Stevie Richards is my last pick, and yeah.
Yes, a great pick, man.
And he's a chameleon. He could do anything, and he would dress like him. I mean, he did Big Stevie, cool, all kinds of stuff. Like he could do goofy, serious, whatever you want to do. He'd come out and do anything. So yeah.
He would be all into whatever he's doing. I love that. Mm-hmm. Excellent final round pick.
He could work. He could be a manager. I mean, he could just be.
Yep.
That's right. He managed Chronic, who was one of your other teams.
Hey, he did. Yeah, see, it all fits together.
All coming together.
All right, Randy, bring us home. I know you're going to have a good selection here for your final pick. I trust you. I believe in you.
Yeah, the last pick every year in the NFL draft, they call him Mr. Irrelevant, right? Mm-hmm. And usually, to be fair, he is irrelevant. I think maybe Ryan Suckup was a kicker for the Chiefs that had a pretty decent career, but usually you pretty much never hear them ever again, and that's why they are Mr. Irrelevant. So I think I'm going to take Mr. Irrelevant in this draft, and I'm going to really go with Irrelevant. And every stable needs some foot soldiers and a fall guy, as you guys were saying. I'm going to go with my final pick being the ECW Zombie.
You did it.
That's amazing.
You brought
Mr. Irrelevant.
From the premiere episode of ECW
on
Sci-Fi, June 13th, 2006. They trotted him out there. They wanted to dispel the notion that this was going to be hokey and zombies and sci-fi and horror. They trotted him out there, and he was killed by the Sandman with kendo stick shots in about 4 seconds. And
so good. Good.
My favorite part was like the grave dirt that was flying off his body. He was getting pounded into the sand. So the ECW.
Oh my! What a selection! You got the Undertaker. You got to have a zombie.
That's right.
Yeah. Yeah. Kudos.
Give yourselves a round of applause.
Yeah,
you brought it here
good
tonight. Excellent picks here. I love the variety here. Let's run down our selections here. Everybody, let's remind everybody. You want to talk
about some extra ones we kind of had? Maybe just those.
I do. Yeah, I do.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Cool.
Let's just run down our initial selections, and then I want to talk about guys who we left on the board there. So my Ministry of Darkness, Team Alex, is of course the Undertaker as the leader, Kane, Bray Wyatt, Sensational Sherry, Papa Shango, Mortis, Gangrel, Abdullah the Butcher, manager Paul Bearer, tag team The Powers of Pain, and then Luna Vachon as my final selection.
Perfect. Love that.
Yeah. Who's yours, Travis?
Oh, I didn't write them in order, huh?
I have them. Yeah.
Okay.
You want me to run through them?
Yeah.
Okay, Travis, yours was what? Do you have them noted?
I have them all.
Okay, well, go ahead. Yeah, it doesn't have to be in order. Yeah, go for it. Go ahead.
I've got Raven, and we'll take her, obviously. And Raven, Aleister Black, tag team of Chronic, manager of the Jackal, Billy Kidman, Itchy Kidman, mind you. 7-year Itch Kidman. Big Shoe.
Big Shoe. We got a really big shoe for you tonight.
Big Shoe. Yeah. Debuting Paul White as a minion of The Undertaker. Vampiro. Victoria as my female. Abyss and Fall Guy. Chameleon of all the arts. Mr. Steven Richards. So.
Very nice. Randy, your Ministry of Darkness.
Yes, led by the Amish Devil Undertaker. He is backed by manager Sinister Minister from ECW. Next to them, tag team Demolition in all their Mad Max glory. Next to Demolition is Sue Young, the Undead Bride, and her Undead Bridesmaids, hopefully come with. Mil Muertes, the Lucha Taker from Lucha Underground. Jake the Snake Roberts of 1991 heel fame. Cactus Jack from ECW. Darby Allin from current day AEW, the Kiss Demon, Dale Torborg, Big Bad Mama from the Gorgeous Lady of Wrestling, 1980 to 1990, and my fall guy, my foot soldier, the ECW Zombie, making his first and last appearance on the premiere episode of ECW on Sci-Fi.
Good job,
Three very different teams. Excellent job, everybody. Yeah, Travis. Let's talk about this before we shut it down tonight. Yeah, some of the guys left on the draft board, man. Who were some of the people that you had written down that for whatever reason you did not select?
I had a fallen angel, Christopher Daniels.
Okay.
He was allegedly going to be the higher power at one point, allegedly, depending on who you ask. I had him though. Just that character when he got to actually play it was pretty cool. Pretty cool character, and that would have been really neat in the Ministry. Again, if I didn't already have a Kidman and a Vampire, I was going to take a Christopher Daniels. But I had him, Luke Harper as a
same.
If I'd have gotten Bray, I probably would have put Luke just because that guy can freaking work, dude. And he can do anything, man. And he was, what's that stable he had at the Dark Order? Like he kind of had that going too. So anyway. I had them on there, just in case. Had some guys you guys stole, but those two were the two I thought we left on the board.
Randy, what about you?
Yeah, my main two I lost were to you. Was Papa Shango and Mortis. So in place of them, I ended up with pretty good shape. Cactus Jack and Darby Allin. Not too bad of scabs for losing those two. I did have on my list. I was always prepared though. I had way more than I needed, so I had people like Minoru Suzuki from Japan, Murder Grandpa.
Ooh, okay.
I had him in Evil on the list from Japan.
Nice.
Like Boogeyman, Dexter Loomis from NXT. So
I thought about Loomis, and then I thought about just his portrayal and how it's a little bit. It's weird to say. It's a little bit over the top for Ministry, which is weird. But like it's because that was over the top, but in a different way. But yeah, I thought about Loomis. I like that call, man.
I thought you were gonna pick Dexter Loomis. I had that as a potential guy for you, Travis. Boogeyman I had written down, but I just couldn't justify it.
No.
I did have Crush later on in the draft, thinking like the evil Crush with the face paint, but Travis stole that. But the one that I did not think you were going to take, Travis, my tag team was going to be the Dark Carnival of Great Muta and Vampiro from WCW.
Oh, so I messed it up.
You screwed that up by taking Vampiro. He was not going to be a singles guy for me.
Gotcha.
But I really wanted to take Great Muta, but I considered taking him as a singles, but I was just bitter that you took Vampiro, so I left him on the board.
It hurt too much, yeah.
It hurt too much. I think
we left Vader on the board, too.
I had Vader. I had a potential Vader pick, but I felt like I had too many monsters.
Yeah.
Women, Alexa Bliss obviously could have been picked. Yeah. Rosemary, Scarlett Bordeaux, I thought was a potential pick, and Nikki Cross was one of the ones that I thought could have been a cool pick, just as a wild card type person in there. And managers, man, this guy could have been a wrestler, but I was thinking of him more of as a manager. Was Kevin Sullivan as the Taskmaster? Man.
If I didn't get Jackal, if y'all got him, I was going to take Kevin Sullivan. So yeah,
I had Sullivan and Paul Ellering were the other two.
Yeah,
Paul Ellering, I could see that.
I had Road Warriors and Paul Ellering on mine too. So.
Yeah, we mentioned Road Warriors, and I just got to say, could have been tag teams or could have been singles. I'm very surprised that none of us ever mentioned Matt or Jeff Hardy to be in their Ministries of Darkness, because they were on my boards, but just didn't end up picking them.
Yeah, I didn't even think of that. They weren't even on my board for singles.
Really? I kind of penciled them in, just maybe tag team, but I had enough little guys, and I wanted to get a big tag team. I also had I had Perry Saturn written down. If I didn't get I was going to go with him or Stevie as my last pick.
Sure.
Because again, I thought he's an Intercontinental title type guy. He can do. He wore a dress. He had crazy eyeballs and he wore a dog collar, all that kind of stuff in WCW. Man, he didn't care, dude. He could go out there and just hustle and work like nobody's business. He didn't have to talk. He could have Jackal talk for him. I thought Perry Saturn would have fit, but when you said a fall guy, that's why I chose Stevie over him. So,
how about nobody taking Sting? Any particular reason?
Go ahead.
No, I was about to bring that up. That was gonna be my last point. Was nobody taking Sting?
I like Sting. I love Sting. I mean, you can't deny what he's done in this business, and that Crow character I think fits in the Ministry. I mean, that fits that aesthetic. I didn't pick him because I feel like he would be a leader onto himself, and how would he be under the Undertaker?
Exactly.
And also,
right.
You guys have heard me say this before. I am the only person on planet Earth that really didn't desire the Undertaker versus Sting. I think Sting is amazing. I think it would be a great match just because it's the Undertaker and Sting. Not that they're all alike at all. They both wear black, but that's about where I draw the line. I just don't get it. So I didn't pick him for that reason. And I think Sting would have his own faction. He doesn't really need to be.
He doesn't need,
Yep.
That was the kind of reason I was like Sting. The whole point of that Crow character was he was alone. He wasn't in WCW. He wasn't NWO. So I was like, yeah, he was Wolfpack eventually, but I couldn't put him with Taker. I just didn't. That character doesn't fit. Even now he's got Darby, but he doesn't really have a faction. And that crazy Joker Sting worked out in TNA for a little bit, but I think a Sting 97, 98, 99, I just wouldn't have put him in this. But yeah, I thought about it though. I thought maybe somebody would do it.
Yeah, no, I did too, and I definitely considered it. I think that's the reason why I didn't pick Jeff Hardy as well. It just almost felt like too much leadership, too many top guys in there that just wouldn't click in sort of that faction mindset. But he would definitely fit. The character would, if you could come up with a way to do it. But the fans may disagree with us. They may agree with us. And we want to hear what you, the listeners, think of our draft picks. So what we're going to do is we will post these selections here once this episode drops, once it's been out for a couple of days. And we want you, the listeners, to vote. So we'll put a poll up on our Twitter page at Talking Taker. Which Ministry of Darkness do you think is the best? Is it Alex's? Is it Travis's? Or is it Randy's? Which one would you want to see in real life? And we will let the fans decide who truly won this Ministry of Darkness draft. I think you can make a case for any of us.
First, yeah.
Yes,
don't just
absolutely.
look at the names and see, because it might not. I know who would win off of that. Just look at the name, but listen to the justifications first as we build our teams.
I think that's what it came down to, truly crafting a faction. What does that mean to have a Ministry of Darkness? And that's what we wanted to do here for you listeners. We hope you enjoyed it. I had a blast. I don't know about you guys, but I had an incredible time. This was so much fun.
Oh, this took so many turns. I didn't even know we were going down. I love it.
Me either.
I love it. Yeah.
When Alex pitched this initially, and I said, "Hey, do we want to wait for the NFL draft? So it's like draft season. I don't know if that would hit with you guys." And Alex is like, "I'm so excited. Let's do it now." Glad we did it now. I'm so glad we did it now.
So much fun.
Yeah.
We appreciate you, Randy, for joining us. Why don't you give us your plugs for your Twitter? Hey, and
Randy. Sorry.
You're a podcast star of your own, so to plug the other podcasts that you appear on as well.
Yeah. By the way, I'm shocked that I got through the holiday season and all those clearance sales on WWE Shop. Nobody bought me the Hey Randy shirt. WWE Shop. I'm very shocked that I got through the holidays without that. But
hey, Randy, yeah.
Yeah, but I am on the Collecting Dead Man podcast. Steven is gracious enough host to allow me to come on once a month, and we went through the tag team victories for the Undertaker, because those are matches everybody goes to WrestleMania, or maybe the world title wins. So we went through all the month by month. We went through the tag team title wins, because some of those, maybe you see those all the time, and other ones are just on random SmackDowns or on random Raws. So it's kind of cool to relive what the Federation was going through at that particular time. And we finished it. We finished it last month. We do one per month, and so now we're doing a new series. It's a brief series. It's the Undertaker's Undercard Championships, which is one. It's a brief series, and we're gonna do
a great run.
Yes. Brief, great run, and we're going to record that, I think, on Thursday, so in 2 days, and then it'll probably be out by the time this episode drops. But it's going to be the Hardcore Championship, RVD and The Undertaker at Vengeance 01. We'll cover that, and it's usually pretty snackable. We usually get through it in about an hour, just going through the match, talking about things, toys that relate to that match, like The Undertaker looks like from that time period. And I think after the very short series of undercard titles, we're going to go into our next venture, which is going to be some of the Undertaker's gimmick matches. So we'll go through, we haven't decided which one we're going to start with, but we'll start maybe with coffin matches and casket matches and go through them one by one. And some of them are probably going to be done to death, Yokozuna, things like that, but some of them are going to be on random Raws. And I was tallying it up the other day for kicks, and all of them that I could think of and look up on the internet. I don't know if they have footage for all of them. I mean, we were at 50 plus.
Oh, so my. Oh,
I told
word.
Steven, get ready for 4 more years of Randy. 4 more years. We've got a long way to go.
You guys might have to double up on a few of those episodes.
Right.
Yeah, some of those casket and coffin matches are rough. Those first ones. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, very cool, man. I'm so glad that you guys are doing that. I have enjoyed listening to those on the Collecting Dead Man podcast. Of course, people can follow you on Twitter at Pokey's Little Dog for your horror movie reviews and Foo Fighters commentary over there as well. I encourage everybody to do that. You're a great Twitter follow, and Minnesota Gophers football commentary as well. Of course, you guys, if you listen to this, you know where to follow us at Talking Taker on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Subscribe to the podcast wherever you listen to podcasts. Give us a rating on Spotify, because they rate podcasts on Spotify now. So just go click 5 stars, real easy. Help us out, and subscribe on Spotify. Everybody's leaving Spotify. We just put all our episodes up on Spotify.
That ain't going nowhere. Yeah.
All our stuff's on Spotify now. All the archives are up on Spotify, and everything's up on YouTube as well, along with I've been trying to post some supplemental Talking Taker content to YouTube. My goal is to post a couple extra videos every month in addition to the podcast on YouTube. So I've did an unboxing for a new figure for the Talking Taker collection. I asked for your advice as far as what Ludwig Borga merchandise item to get, because I'm not going to spend $300 on a Ludwig Borga figure. But I did a video on that. Got a couple that I've already recorded that I'm waiting to throw up on there. In addition to this video, the video of the podcast is up on our YouTube channel as well. So go subscribe to us on YouTube. You don't even have to watch it. Just go subscribe. Subscribe to the podcast. Subscribe to YouTube. It takes nothing. You don't even notice it. It'll just pop up in your feed. You can just ignore it. But just go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Help us out with that. And let us know what you want in the future, because our next episode will be the month of April. We're doing these episodes every month now, so we'll have a new episode April 1st. I do have an idea, but it is really pending on whether or not The Undertaker gets inducted into the Hall of Fame this year. Otherwise, we will have to change plans.
Yeah, that episode would drop the night he would probably get inducted. I think.
Exactly.
I think the Hall of Fame is after SmackDown. Friday. If I'm not
I think
mistaken.
that's what it's scheduled for. Of course, they've announced literally nothing. So,
it's February.
Fingers
no
crossed.
Hall of Fame.
Keep your eyes. That would be incredible. So keep your eyes on our social media because maybe asking for you, the listeners' help with that episode if that is the case that he goes in the Hall of Fame. But if not, we'll come up with something else excellent to add to it. Travis, by the time this episode drops, you will have had a very important musical performance, and our fingers are crossed that you'll have another one coming up after the episode drops as well. Tell us about that.
Yeah, as we record this, a week from now, I will be playing at a Tennessee Songwriter Showcase, and I will be one of 20 people at this particular showcase that gets to win. Only 6 people from the whole state get chosen, and get to go to Nashville. So as a recording of this, it hasn't happened yet. As the time you're hearing this, I will either have gotten chosen and move on to the final round and get to play in Nashville, or not. And either way, it's a win for me. I've had a lot of good response, a lot of good publicity from it, a lot more people listening to my stuff than ever before, so that's pretty cool. That's what it's all about. So appreciate you guys' support, and hopefully I'll be moving on to Nashville for play the Bluebird Cafe. It's a pretty prestigious area. So
gosh, what a dream.
Yeah, for real. So either way, it's been fun. It's been a win. So I've loved it. The whole thing's been fun. And it's all just extra credit because I didn't plan any of this.
Absolutely, man. We're so proud of you. Congratulations on getting through the first round. And, of course, all your music is available on all the streaming platforms, YouTube as well. The latest album is Radical. I encourage everybody to go check it out. Randy, you know the Bluebird. Foo Fighters has part of one of their songs.
And that's why when Travis posted about the Bluebird Cafe, my ears went, what?
Yeah.
And because of that, I go to any Sonic Highway city. They did 8 of those cities. They did different places where they kind of toured the city and tried to get the essence when they wrote that song. So when they did Nashville, they played at the Bluebird. And so when I went to Nashville, my wife and I had to go to the Bluebird. Foo Fighters didn't play that night.
Right.
But, I was there, and I had a chance to kind of eat there and watch somebody else play. And it was just such an intimate setting and very, very cool. You never know if the person that you're seeing in front of you is never going to be heard from again, or they're going to be Taylor Swift. You have no idea.
Exactly. I lived in Nashville 5 years, never went Bluebird. Always wanted to, just never got the chance to. And so yeah, really cool. Really, really, yeah. Like you said, person playing in front of you could never be heard from again, or could wind up being Garth Brooks. So it's just like, it's a cool place. Cool place.
Well, we're rooting for you, man. We're excited for you, and we check your social media, Travis White Music, for all your latest shows. If you're in the Tennessee area, want to go see Travis. And I just want to give one more thanks to Randy for sending me a couple of onesies for our upcoming baby who's going to be born here next month in March. Is this a Collecting Dead Man one? Is this from his site?
This is a Collecting Dead Man one. I told Steven it owes me 15 cents or whatever it is.
And then, of course, the Under Frasier, which popped me and my wife real big time.
Good.
Love it, man. Thank you so much,
good.
Randy. We love having you on the show. We appreciate your friendship. And you've just been an awesome, awesome friend of the show. And we're still looking for a time where we can meet up in real life. Hope we can make that happen one day.
Yeah, if everything cools off and the world stops burning, we will meet up. I can't wait.
Yeah, we'll make it happen. Absolutely.
No diggity.
Travis, close us out, my friend.
All right. Thank you guys for joining us with this first ever mock draft. Well, no, real draft. Not a mock draft. Yeah, we had our mocks. First ever real draft. Let us know what you think. This was a blast. It was a lot of really good time. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And let us know what your mock drafts or your drafts would be. You know, we'd love to hear from you guys. Get your feedback. What would your drafts be? What'd you like about ours? What'd you dislike? Love to hear feedback from you guys. Even though we only do these once a month now, it's fun to hear feedback from you guys all along. So you guys stay safe out there. And as always, take her easy.